It turned out that starting an education program across government agencies and across jurisdictions was harder than it looked, and getting different parts of a university to collaborate could be even more challenging. Money had to be found in different corners of government to pay for training. No one knew whether it would survive periodic budget cuts. But over time, as results piled up, NPLI gained traction and now has reached its 15th year. It has a proud record of training thousands of senior leaders. From government, humanitarian organizations, and businesses large and small, and from across the country and around the world, to meet a wide variety of emergencies. That training includes bringing leaders to the Harvard campus twice over a 6-month period, the first time for intensive training by faculty from across the university, and the second as a follow-up to see how lessons from the classroom have played out in the field. Importantly, through this work, officials from different departments and different levels of responsibility have formed a close network of colleagues and friends who are there for each other. In the midst of any big emergency, there are frequently several NPLI alumni working across boundaries with each other, pulling on the leadership knowledge, skills, and practices they've gained during their time at Harvard. One of the strengths of the program has been its adaptability. When it comes to disaster relief, the NPLI initially focused on responses to terror, but as weather-related disasters have grown ferociously in recent years, classes now turn more frequently to the effects of climate change, and in their private sector training, they've added a focus on cybersecurity and are helping corporations identify the moments of crisis more quickly as the speed of technology demands. No doubt they will continue to evolve in the future. Of course, no one would argue that NPLI is a panacea. Preparedness is an all-hands-on-deck requirement in addressing emergencies. In the battle against Hurricane Katrina, for example, Admiral Tad Allen and his Coast Guard contingent, who assumed leadership late in the response, were valiant in saving lives and inspiring confidence. By contrast, the local leadership in New Orleans was widely seen as ineffectual and over its head. Clearly, every jurisdiction in the country now has an interest in training up its top people and its responders to meet once-in-100-years storms or the ravages of uncontrolled fires. What the NPLI can do that is very hard in government is to play to its strengths, discovering and amassing knowledge, sorting out best practices, teaching others, the lifeblood of universities. There are definitely lessons to be learned about emergencies, both from the American experience and from the experience of others. I well remember when the Chief of London Police visited an NPLI program several years ago. In Britain, the police, not a national team, are responsible for dealing with terrorist incidents. The London chief outlined how the officer in charge of first responses would have at his side someone with equivalent experience to his own to be a second pair of eyes and ears for the chief. The officer in charge, said our London visitor, might be so focused on one aspect of the response that he or she would miss the big picture. The companion is there to be a quiet voice in the ear of the leader. Listening, I was reminded of a short film that is popular in universities. It shows a half-dozen students with a basketball and asks students to count the number of times the ball is thrown quickly back and forth. After the film ends, the teacher asks students how many passes occurred. Guesses vary. Then the teacher asks the students if they saw anything else in the film. At least a quarter of viewers, I remember I was one of them, say no. What they miss is that while the ball was flying...